Good evening, Sheila. I'm joined by Dr. Kizza, Besigye, a former FDC president, former presidential campaign, four-time presidential candidate. Of course, if all things went well, this interview would be conducted in the State House, but we are here in Kasangati. And of course, Doctor, good evening. Thank you for joining us. A lot has been going on, the fray between the Katonga group and the Najjanankumbi. A lot has been said. And many of those leaders in Najjanankumbi point to you as the problem. What do you have to respond to people that say that you focus more on your legacy over development and growth of other leaders within the party, the young leaders in FDC specifically?
You see, sorry, unfortunately, I haven't heard what was said in this segment of your news. I've been looking at pictures on the TV talking about the strong man syndrome, yes, which I think points to what you are asking about.
Yes.
Now, I would like our viewers to really know that the ruling junta has specialized in the use of media to bombard the country with all kinds of diversionary information. And that's how they focus on individuals, as if individuals within the political crisis that the country faces are the problem. First, there is no multi-party democracy in Uganda, even before you talk about what happens in parties. One would be justified to interrogate what happens in parties if there was a party system. There is no party system in Uganda. You cannot have a multi-party system where you have a multi-party parliament and you have literally now all parties on both sides. I think it is only NUP which has not yet joined both sides. You have UPC both in the government and in opposition. You have DP both in government, in fact the leader of the party in the government, or his MPs opposing him. You have the FDC now with the party saying it chased its leader of in parliament, Semuju, and the replacement said, I have come to work with the government. So there is no multi-party democracy. You cannot have a multi-party democracy and you have 10 members of the military sitting with the ruling party and sitting and working entirely with the ruling party. That's not, soldiers are not supposed to be partisan. Even our constitution does not allow soldiers to be partisan. So we don't have a multi-party democracy in Uganda. And that's where the problems that we face, which are being talked about in parties, originate. But they throw all this noise to mask the real problem. Secondly, we don't even have democracy. Forget about multi-party democracy. Even democracy of whatever kind, we don't have. Because democracy is underpinned fundamentally by freedoms.
Okay.
If you don't have freedoms, you cannot have democracy. If you can't have free and fair elections, you cannot talk about a democratic system. If elections are mediated by troops, you have deployment of soldiers everywhere, you know, arrests and so on. So let's come back to your question of my role in this confusion.
The strong man syndrome.
Yes, my role in this confusion. First of all, I think I still hold the unique position of being so far the only leader of a political party who stepped down from leadership.
And the party is now crumbling.
Wait, whether it crumbles or not, but I stepped down from leadership. No other leader, the only other leader who stepped down from leadership of a party was the late Honorable Paul Kawanga Semogerere. So since independence, I am only the second leader to step down from leadership of a party. And I stepped down not under any pressure. In fact, the pressure was that I don't step down. I stepped down. So a strong man cannot be the one who actually presses to leave office. If I want to have this preponderant power over the party, why step off the position that gives you power over the party?
But Doctor, when you stepped down, did you support the leaders that you left there when you stepped down?
Secondly, you see, and that's why people in the media should help people to understand how parties function. Parties function through taking decisions in organs. So in FDC, we have the supreme organ, the National Delegates Conference. Below it, we have the National Council, and below it, we have the National Executive. The National Executive is the one which runs the party day to day, headed by the party president. So the decisions of the party on a day-to-day running are taken in the National Executive. I would like to hear any single decision of the FDC organ, whether National Executive or any other, that Besigye interfered with. Any. Whether when General Muntu was a leader of the party, or now when Amriat was a leader of the party, whether there is any single decision they took and I interfered with it.
Doctor, why are they viewing you as an obstacle? The leaders in Najjanankumbi.
So that's what you should be, that question should be fielded to them. Because, and it's not the leaders in Najjanankumbi. Now the current problem is different. It's not the strong man problem. The current, that strong man syndrome is part of the noise you are, the junta is throwing in the air to confuse what I am talking about, the real problems. So there is nowhere at all. First of all, I never, once I left office, I have never sat in any meeting of the organs of the party, whether in the National Executive, that I am a member of the National Executive contributing to what is going there, or National Council. No. The only meeting maybe where I go as a member is the National Delegates Conference.
Does that confirm you didn't support the party since you are the strong man there?
So first of all, I could not have interfered in any way with the decision making of the party and carry out a research. Even from these fellows making noise in Najjanankumbi today, whether there is any decision that they took which I interfered with. Absolutely nothing. So, but now the current crisis at Najjanankumbi is not a Besigye crisis. Otherwise, then there is Besigye in DP, there is also Besigye in UPC, there is Besigye in JEMA, there is Besigye in NUP, because all these parties are encumbered with the same problem. So it can't be Besigye in DP or in UPC or in NUP now causing, no. So if we are looking at what is causing problems currently at Najjanankumbi, it is the junta. And it is the junta causing the problems all over. And so this whole question of trying to deflect the problems that are in Najjanankumbi today to Besigye is simply part of the tactics, very well known tactics of the junta that is in Najjanankumbi. In Najjanankumbi today, it's the junta which is there.
But Doctor, some of the leaders you've worked with there, the Honorable Genga Latigo, Jack Sabiti, all point, and they are likening you to the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni.
You see,
Amri had said you're even 3 times worse than Museveni.
You see, people will always try to find an explanation for their own weaknesses. This Jack Sabiti you are talking about, yes, I confronted him because he was in charge of our security, of the people's government. Without notifying any of us, he went secretly and met with Museveni. secretly. We discovered and asked him whether it was true. He denied. Until literally we brought evidence of somebody he was going with, and then he said yes. And you've heard him say, for me, I don't treat Mr. Museveni, Besigye is consumed with enmity, that I have hatred for Mr. Museveni, which he doesn't have. This is not about hatred. It's about Mr. Museveni, who has caused immense problems for the country.
Okay.
And indeed caused immense problems for our party. So if you want to go to the person we are dealing with, and you go quietly and you don't inform us, and when we discover you, then I become the problem.
Okay, Doctor, that is understood.
The
delegates conference that was in Katonga, the leaders there resolved to dissolve the party in FDC.
Yes.
How feasible is that, and how logical is that? Are you happy when FDC collapses, Dr. Besigye?
No, I'm not happy. But you see...
Why don't you leave the party in peace and form another party or another outfit?
You see, first of all, as indeed many people have told you, FDC is the formation, the growth of an organization in which very many people have invested hugely. Many of those who have invested hugely are dead, you know, including its leaders, like the Chairman Sulaiman Chigundu, Chairman Samu Njuba, Chairman Chimera, and so on. They are dead. They invested a lot. Now in FDC, as I have told you, it has shifted from what FDC set out to do. FDC set out to remove dictatorship and create a democratic change. Now the people in Najjanankumbi are working with those who are undermining the democratic change openly. You know, as I have told you, they came to parliament to replace Semuju and said, we have come to work with the problem. So, it's not FDC anymore. It's the junta putting on clothes of FDC. And so we must undress it so that it does not,
but Doctor,
it does not masquerade.
They are saying
under the sacrifices of those who have
they are saying General Muntu left in peace, Betty Kamya left in peace.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you do that as the people in Katonga?
Even those, you see, if those who wanted to work with the junta had come to the organs of the party and said, this, we want to change the direction of the party, this is what we think is desirable, we could have debated, voted whether we do that. And if the majority had chosen to go that way, then we would not seek to dissolve the party. The party would have changed its course. Then those who don't agree with that course would also leave and form their own party. Indeed, like General Muntu did, because the debate with General Muntu was defiance, whether the party should be a party of defiance.
Okay, Doctor.
The majority voted to move in the defiance direction. Those who didn't feel comfortable with the defiance indeed formed another one. So if the people had, these leaders had not betrayed the party, betrayed the members and the country, because a party is its mission. They betrayed the mission of the party. If they had democratically discussed it, those who would have, and the majority chose to go the way they want to go, we would have formed a different one quietly.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us. I'm afraid we cannot extend this any further. Perhaps we should have another time to discuss this. Back to you, Sheila, at the Political Command Center.